Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Welcome to the book club meeting this evening. I'm so happy to have you. So today, welcome to Blue Waters Coaching. This is the platform that is dedicated to empowering women to unlock their leadership potential and transform their lives. So I am here as your leadership and transformation coach, and I will help you through various programs that I offer, including this one, which is the I'm Leading Book Club. And my purpose is to help women ignite new possibilities and embrace their greatness. So I am so happy to have you here because through Blue Waters Coaching, I aim to create a space where women can experience profound shifts, step into their power, and live lives filled with abundance. So karibuni sana, feel welcome. I want to acknowledge people I can see here. I can see new faces. Award. I can see Wilson Diwa, karibu sana. LN, I don't know who is this. JA, I don't know who is this. Redwan, welcome. Abby, Susan and Rachel, welcome. Feel at home. We are all here to learn. So say hi in the chat. Let's interact. Say hello in the chat and tell us where you are joining us from this. As we do that, just want to introduce you, those who are new to our meeting. Just from the word Blue Waters Coaching, I want to bring to your attention that blue waters is a metaphor that represents depth. And depth, where there is depth, then there is clarity and there is flow. So just as water nourishes, cleanses, and connects, then what we are talking about this evening, transformational coaching, is designed to nurture the heart, the mind, and the soul, enabling women to flow effortlessly like those blue waters you can see there towards their desired outcomes. So the Blue Waters Coaching platform is about creating space for healing, for growth, and for transformation, so that we allow each woman to discover not somebody's path, but their own path, and to build resilience and embrace her true power. You'll agree with me, that kind of a woman is powerful, powerful. She can create and ignite possibilities. In the same way, the water reflects the sky. It's my belief that every woman, just like you, every person, just like you, has the capacity to reflect their highest potential and stand in their greatness and lead with purpose. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope now you are saying hello to us. Bishag, you are listening from Kiambu. Thank you so much. Susan, you are joining in from Kisumu. Yes, Lanoi too. Oh, okay. Yes, are you from Kisumu also, Grace? Thank you. Jane, you are joining us from Eldoret. Caroline from South Sudan. Yes, glad to be here to ignite possibilities. Where are the rest joining us from? Kindly let us interact. The chat, tell us hello and tell us where you are joining us from. So that is the Blue Waters Coaching platform, which is to influence and to leave a lasting impact. Let's hear Rachel joining us from Gitaru. Oh, amazing. This is nice here in Kenya. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So now we understand when you hear Blue Waters, those who are joining us, who are new, we are here to ignite limitless, endless possibilities. And we had a 4 days in the month of August, where we talked about igniting possibilities. And you can find that in our YouTube channel. It's free, 4 days free information to help you to know how to ignite limitless, endless possibilities. So that is our focus. And I'm a woman igniter, as you can see, as a leadership coach, as an inspirational trainer, and the newest author, This Side of Heaven. I have a mission, a great mission to ignite possibilities for women who are ambitious. So it's not just any woman who is showing up, but that woman must be ambitious, an ambitious woman leader to achieve their own extraordinary success. Remember, is your own, is not what you see on social media, is not what you see in the television or in the newspapers. It's about your own extraordinary success. And I do that by igniting their lives. As I present that matchstick, then you are able to ignite that spark and you are able to show up for yourself and to live without limits. So, ladies and gentlemen, I love sparking your dreams. It is my passion to fuel your purpose and to develop your leadership potential so that you can lead, you can thrive, and you can flourish. Lead, thrive, and flourish. These are the pillars we have at Blue Waters Coaching, because we believe that every woman is meant to thrive and not merely survive. Because every woman has the DNA of abundance. Angeline is joining us from Nairobi, here in Nairobi. Eunice Magut, wow, joining us from Nairobi. Thank you for joining in this evening. So we are here to ignite new possibilities for you. Whatever has been in the past is in the past. Now we forge forward even as we come to the end of the year. So as the host of the I Am Leading Book Club, I am so happy that in this season, season 17, we are reading one of the books. And that book has been Finding Me by Viola Davis. And the I'm Leading Book Club is one of the cornerstones of Blue Waters Coaching. It is a place where women come together to learn, to grow, and to support one another in their leadership journeys. So you can see we are big on leadership. We read powerful personal development books, and we do not just read, but we apply those lessons so that we can step out, we can step up, and we can stand out as leaders. So if you are ready to take charge of your personal growth and well-being, then I invite you to join this dynamic community of women who are dedicated to self-improvement and mutual support. So this evening, as you received the invite, you saw our topic was Beyond the Mask. Beyond the mask. Because as ladies, as women, as human beings in this world, we put on a mask. And when someone has a mask, you can see from that woman who is stepping out of the mask, she's coming out from a different identity. And when she puts out the mask, when she goes beyond the mask, through the process this year we have been calling becoming, then she's able to embrace and find herself and have the real, genuine woman leader who is abundant, who has prioritized her well-being, and she is a leader. So that is our conversation this evening, and we have amazing speakers who are going to share their own personal stories based on the book Finding Me by Viola Davis. They are going to demonstrate how they have also found themselves. So this is what we are going to have this evening. I don't want to say so much. I want to introduce so that we are all together. And you can see there are several masks And sometimes as people, we find ourselves slipping into different roles and different masks as the world around us changes. So you'll find you have a different mask when maybe you're at the workplace. You'll find that you have a different mask when you're in church, such that somebody who saw you at the place of work and sees you in church wonders, is this the same person? Is this the same woman I saw in church who was shouting at me in the office? And now she's only thou. That's how the masks change. Then when you go home, maybe she's a female woman, CEO. At the workplace, she's feared and revered. But when she's get home, she's that humble woman. Let's see the masks that we usually put on. So one of the masks that we put on, the masks we carry as women leaders, and one of them is that we want to be seen to be perfect. I don't know that you have ever found yourself in this situation where you want to be the perfect mother, you want to be the perfect wife, you want to be the perfect daughter, you want to be that sister, that wife who is perfect, no flaw. If you resonate with that, say yes in the chat. Let's see whether we resonate with the mask that we carry, the mask of perfectionism. Another mask you can find yourself is being seen as that high-achieving professional and entrepreneur. That's what you want the world to see. That know me, I am that high-achieving professional. I can make it as a perfect mother, perfect wife, and perfect high-achieving professional. Do you ever find yourself in such a situation? Or do you find yourself being perfect, in quotes, as the selfless colleague who is always giving out, so that you can be seen to be the good girl in town? Do you have such a mask? And what other masks do we carry? Yes, Caroline, thank you. That is our topic this evening, being vulnerable, being authentic. Thank you for saying yes, because we find ourselves in it. It is true. And that is the story of Viola Davis. Who else finds themselves in this situation where you are striving to be that perfect woman, that you want to be the best at the workplace? And sometimes in your journey of becoming the best, you rub shoulders with everyone around you because you want your word. You want to be seen as that woman. Or you go the opposite. You want to be validated by others. So you become the good girl. You're always selfless. You're always helping out. Even when you don't have to, you find yourself, you want to go that extra mile in quotes so that you can be seen to be good. It happens. Sometimes even as siblings, you want to be that selfless one so that you can gain from others. Say you are the good one. That is part of the masks we carry. We want to be seen to be perfect. When you want to be perfect, even before you do anything, what happens? Never seem to do anything much because you are waiting for the perfect conditions. You're waiting for when it is really good for you to show up. Otherwise, you'll not show up. You don't want to show up. You want to be the best and you want to show up as the best. So you keep on postponing until I have money, sufficient money. That is when I'll start building that house. That is when I'll go back to college. That is when I'll pay for that course. Sometimes we find ourselves in such situations and months go, days go, years go. Now it is the end of 2024 and you're still talking about the goals you set up in January 2024. The masks we carry. Who else resonates with this story? I invite you to be vulnerable. Okay. As I talked about this, I was just highlighting some of the masks that we have. The mask of fitting in, and I've talked about that, such that we don't play our vulnerabilities, we don't play our ambitions, because we want to fit in, not to be seen as that girl. We don't play our unique qualities, our talents, our passions, so that we can meet expected standards. Or if it's in the office, to blend into male-dominated spaces. The mask of fitting in. I don't know who is guilty of this. I know several of you are guilty, but you are still downplaying your vulnerabilities. You don't want to show up. What will people say? You see, we downplay all that in the mask of fitting in. You don't want to be seen as a bad girl. You want to be seen as a good girl. Another mask. We keep on building emotional barriers. How? By wearing that mask of strength and independence. Why? So that to protect ourselves from being hurt again. So in doing that, we become inauthentic. So the call this evening is for us now to rise above that as we discover the real self that we are, finding you again, who has been lost in these masks of building emotional barriers, of acting independent, of acting behind the lipstick and the powders, but inside you are hurting. And that is the story of Viola. You'll see how from the book we read, you are able to see the trauma, the pain, yes, emotional barriers, yes, walls, wow, yes, that makes us inauthentic. Thank you, Grace, for sharing. This is profound. Yes, we need to peel off the masks. It is time now we start embracing the pain. It is time now to start going and meeting with the trauma face to face so that we can release our self-limiting beliefs. All those downplaying we have had, it is time now to arise and shine. It is time to ignite the brilliance already within us. Time to fill up the mask. Yes, yes, Jen. People are talking now. Amazing, amazing. So that we can now, as women leaders, as we peel off the masks, why are we peeling them off? So that we can lead from a place of integrity and wholeness. And integrity is just about wholeness, from that place of truth, from that place where you're not pretending to be that other woman, from that place where you know who you are, finding you, who you are, you know your purpose. You're living a purpose-driven life. You embrace and own your passions, your strengths, and you show up without any fear, without seeking validation from anyone, because you know who you are and you know this is your truth. So this is where our conversation begins this evening, leading from a place of integrity and wholeness, where we are not thinking about you being somebody else, but through the journey of becoming, you discover yourself and you start leading from that place. Wow. Angeline says, I imagine this being awards we are trying to win that do not exist. Yes, the most perfect. The person who never says no, does not need rest, works most hours, makes no mistake, HC. Exactly. Thank you so much, Angeline, for doing that. Because we are all guilty of that at one point in our lives, where you are not genuine. We're not genuine at all. We keep on working. When I ask you, when I meet ladies and I ask them, so you are telling me you are very busy. Busy doing what? Busy, I have this project, I have this paper to present to the board, and then they forget themselves. They never have time for themselves. They don't create 1 hour, at least at the minimum, for themselves. That is not leading from a place of integrity. You are being inauthentic because you are meant to thrive and not merely survive. You are meant to flourish and to bear fruits. And that is a place, in that space. That space I talked about, let me lead you, the ones who have just. Yes, we talked about here as we started at the Blue Waters. We said Blue Waters coaching, the Blue Waters is a place that represents depth. Clarity is the word I wanted. Clarity. When you know who you are, then now you start creating a space for yourself for healing. To heal from that past, from the trauma. A space for yourself to step up, to grow. It's only through growth that you can bear fruits. And that is a place of transformation, where you discover your own path. You build resilience while at it, and you embrace your true power. That is the space we are talking about this evening. Going beyond the mask. And through the stories we shall have, through the conversations we shall have this evening, it shall be the journey of becoming. We're not talking about a destination. We're not talking about perfection, but every day becoming better and better. Every day growing by 1%. So that is our conversation this evening, and I'm happy to invite our first speaker is Kadziri Eid. Kadziri is an intentional champion of the rights of children with disabilities. She is a loving, transformational, enthusiastic, trained lawyer specialized in disability law. Her vision, acceptance. She strives to ensure children with disabilities are self-aware and geared up to face the world despite the challenges presented. She says it is such a joy and pleasure. She actually says it's so fulfilling to make an impact. Being born and raised in the deaf community, that is, experiences acquired as being a child of deaf adults, what they call CODA in their language. Kadziri grew up with the urge to make a difference in the disability fraternity because she believes children are better placed to learn on how to tackle life while still young and form better adults aside from the stereotypes in the community. Wow, Kadziri. This is what she says. This is my actual driving force on mentoring children with disability on their self-awareness and future careers. More so, empowering their parents. With this desire, and Kadziri says, I am the executive director and co-founder of that one you can see, A Smile to Child Parent Society. As you can see, she's creating impact, and therefore she is a mother of many. And our own child, she has been blessed with a daughter she calls Maria Pendo. And she is a wife to one. man called Oko, and I'm so glad I was able to meet Mr. Oko when they came for the annual leadership retreat in Tito Ande. Thanks to Blue Waters Coaching, she says, I am able to fulfill my vision. And she has a tagline, resilient, focused, becoming. Ziri, your time, take it away.
Thank you so much, Coach. I'll put on my camera briefly, and I was even smiling as you're reading, and I'm like, wow, that's my coach. And it's a story actually of unmasking and getting beyond our mask. And I believe the smile we are seeing now was not there a while ago. Before I continue, Coach, today my presentation will be very interesting. I have tagged along someone who will assist me doing sign language interpretation because I invited some deaf women to come into this meeting. So the lady who will support me doing my presentation through sign language is Whitney Awar. So I will allow her to open her camera as I do my presentation so that I close my camera. Yes, if it is allowed, Coach. Fine. Thank you so much, Whitney. Put on your camera. Can I do the sharing on from my end? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. There. It can be seen.
We can't see it. Kindly open it up.
Okay.
I've already allowed you.
Okay. Just a minute. And as you are seeing Whitney, and when I'm putting up my camera, Whitney is a young lady that I met, and I'm happy I was able to impact her in a way that Whitney, share. Have I shared now? It's okay now? Yes?
Yes, now put it in a presentation mode. Yeah, very good.
Perfect. Okay. So Whitney is
yes. Continue. I was now looking for Whitney.
She has opened her camera, if I'm not wrong. Yes, I can see her. Yes, Whitney is a lady. She's a lady that I met, and she really got inspired by what I do. And I was happy she stepped out and reached out and asked me, can I do something extra? Please tag along. It really motivated me. I felt nice, and I said, why not? That is why I'm with her today. And just as you've mentioned, we are doing Beyond the Mask, a retrospective of Finding Me by Viola. And one of her own quotes that Viola tells us in the book is, we do not have to reinvent our past to fit into a crazy, competitive, judgmental world. As you know, the world is crazy as it is, but you don't have to reinvent our past. It has already happened, and we have to live on in life and free from judgments and appreciating what we've been able to do. This beautiful lady here, Viola, I see her face, and I remember after reading the book, I looked for one of her movies. And being in a legal field, I looked for a movie called How to Get Away with Murder. Very intriguing. Yes, we've already done About Me. So let me just say something about my experience and journey at book club. From this presentation, we can see that, from this presentation, from this presentation, we can see that when I joined book club the first time, my alarm was set to wake up at 5 because you were doing the 5 a.m. book club. It was a struggle, but I'm happy I made it. I will do 5:30. And as time went by, thanks to being in various programs like Confident Woman, that built me to who I am. Don't sweat the small stuff. I really used to get fed up with a lot of things that happened in my life. And I just realized, oh my goodness, I have to become this lady that I am meant to be. Because I remember Coach told us, leadership is not only something that you are born with, leadership is something that you can train, get a culture, accustom yourself, and you can do it. So I'm even happy to say with a screenshot that I wake up at sometimes 3:45 or even at 4:30, and it makes me feel nice. Sometimes I see Coach posting something at around 4:30 and I'm like, yeah, at least I've gone ahead on that. So about the book that we are reading. This book was very intriguing. As we can see, the lion, it was so intriguing. Looking at this life of the lady, Viola. And I was like, at first I judged her and I'm like, why is she still being called Davis? After what the father has made her go through and all this. But anyway, with time, as I was reading the book, I just felt like, okay, I reflected so much into my own life, and with the guidance and the reflections of Coach Lois, it made sense to me pretty much on my life. And that series is seen as fiction, but anyway, that is my life at the end of the day. And looking back, comparing to her stories of childhood, all of us have a story. And childhood comes with innocence, and at the same time, we have misplaced hate out of ignorance. An experience that I had for a very long time. I even once tried to kill my own mother because she was just remarrying anyway. The pain that a child feels like, why is this woman getting married again? Hello, my father passed on. My father didn't divorce her. Why is she getting another man? But I didn't realize that as an adult, our parents have their own life, regardless of how they want to be, as long as I'm provided with the experience of childhood stories. And as a child as well, at times I would look at myself and I'm like, do I really belong? And comparing the story of Viola when she would run with the snow, when there was snow and she would run and boys would actually feel like they're harassing her. I felt like the world would come to an end because I was in this society whereby my parent, who is widowed at a very young age, is in a community that people don't speak the same language that others are speaking. It was traumatizing. I didn't know who to go to when I started my first periods, and it was crazy. A friend of mine, I think, is the one who helped me out. I never told my mom because I just even hated where I came from. And her being widowed at a very young age, she was also going through her own issues. So I didn't know how to actually even deal with that. It was shaming, but thanks to God, all these actually with time, we now get to have our lived experiences because we have got so many wishes and so many doors that are there. And from my presentation, actually, it's too much of pictorial to start with as a disclaimer, because I felt we can relate more. And from the bio that Coach just introduced me, I'm dealing with children who have disabilities. And this is where the background is coming in of using a lot of pictorials. And when we're looking at this picture, there's a lady with a key and a child, and they have several doors. The doors have got various colors. So looking at our life experiences, we have got so many doors. Some of them would like to never open, and some of them we are like, can we unlock them? Look at them and smile and say, I made it through. I went past this, because it comes at a time whereby if you do not get to accept like the reality on things that you cannot change, it may be very difficult to go back and unlock that door. But these doors that have been locked out of spite, out of pain, can change our narratives if we get to a point whereby we can be able to heal. And that is why beyond my reading, I felt like, oh, now I get it. Why she is still Viola Davis and she has the guts to even say how again she gets to appreciate the father, and even before then wondering, why does mom still protect this man who harasses her and does all that? So with time and healing and letting go what we cannot control of and controlling what we can, actually we are able to unlock some of these doors, share, talk about them without feeling the pain and the intrigue and the bitterness, but speaking out to make a difference to someone else who might be going through something similar but thinks they're the only ones in the world. The other thing that this book shares about are the fictions that we have in life. I can relate to this as a young woman brought up by a widowed mother at the age of 23. The narrative of mom was, mom was like, you know, Amina, she will call me that. She's like, Amina, you know what? We don't deserve this. And richness, we can see here money. And mom sometimes will feel like people who are rich are liars. And I actually bought the narrative, which is not true, because I will believe that these people, they have to deal with various bad things. They have to lie, they have to pawn. So I will relate richness to something that is not good, of which now I've come to learn that is not a fact, it's a fiction. And the other one, it was to making poverty something very comfortable. She was like, we are honest, that is why we are poor. Yes, that is why we are poor. And I remember, I will tell my daughter at times, one of the new clothes I ever received from my mom were the school uniforms that I was bought for. The others, I would dress in either her clothes or her sister's clothes because she's the firstborn and she raised her other siblings. So that is how I would wear clothes. I would never got new ones apart from when I went to high school. And I felt like, oh, then this is an honest life. But is it true? No, it's not true. And another fiction that I can relate also to the stories that we have, I will be told at times, Mama so and so is not a good woman, because they live a lavish life. And I would actually look at the windows and people and I'm like, these guys have a sofa set, they have a TV. I shouldn't even actually go near there. And is that really true? No, it's not. But it's how the perception of things that they make, that time, mom would make me believe that so that at least I don't feel like it's a burden to her and I just feel comfortable at wherever position and stage that I am in. And then the other one is like, when you go asking, as innocent child, you're like, but this one has this, why don't I get this? And I'm told, you don't need all that, Amina. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. So I grew up believing I really don't need all that anyway. And it's an interesting story. One time, after I think high school, I will see women seated in a hotel and I'm like, okay, what kind of people are these? Because I already had that mindset and the fiction in my mind. So one time after, I think I've done this after I've joined the book club and the Blue Waters coaching. This is when for the first time I was able to fund myself or to remove money from my pocket and spoil myself or even buy for myself lunch, because it influenced my adulthood in a way that I will get money and I'll make sure this money, I use it to support other people, but not myself. Because I felt this is for somebody else, it's for other people, it is not worth for me. And I'm really happy. I feel nice that I was able to break that ice. And coach, I don't know how to thank you a million times with the experiences that we get to hear from other ladies as well in the book club. Because when we get to hear, you grow and learn and you realize, wow, life is not as it is because learning is continuous. And at times a limiting belief that is there is we just say, thank God you're alive anyway, that's all. It's not all. I got to realize that life is in abundance. We claim it. Our God in heaven is not a poor person. That means as creations in his own image, we can make it, we can get it. We don't have to live in poverty. We can make money, we earn it because all riches belong to him who is our provider, and we are here to enjoy in it. And now, going on to this book that really spurred my life is the assumptions that we make in life. At times, we make these assumptions. The same way Viola will say, she is Black, so she may deserve everything that she went through. And the bitter truth when she learned what her mother had to go through, giving birth to her as a teenager, sorry, not her, it was getting their first born brother as a teenager, and now getting married also as a very young lady, all because of the claim that I am Black, I cannot do this. And here I display a very beautiful picture of one, Our Lady, Professor, the late Wangari Maathai. Yes, she was a Black woman, but beauty in her color. And the beauty was the impact she made. Although she had a lot of fights and battles in Kenya, the world recognized this great woman. How I aspire to be this one, Wangari Maathai, as she plants trees, how she made Uhuru Park be, Nairobi being a green city. It is something that really inspires me to live in, apart from the assumption that I was born in a widowed family, I was born by a deaf woman. It doesn't matter, that happened because I am who I am. And the other one is I am short. I actually make fun of this thing because when I go to places, people tell me, I didn't realize you're this short. I used to wear heels before COVID. And after COVID, I got into an accident whereby having heels was a bit challenging for me. So the people who met me after COVID, they're like, do you mean you are this short? And it used to be an assumption before that I have to be on heels to stand out and step out. So after things changed, and for sure, I tried putting on my heels and it couldn't work. That's when I realized, okay, now I have to agree, I am short. And I would go like, I'm short, but I'm not a dwarf. Then I look at myself, I'm like, hey, I'm saying I'm short and not a dwarf. Am I just comforting myself? What about this person now who has dwarfism? What should they say? So these are the assumptions that we make in life that can limit us for who we are. And another assumption that actually drove my life to the wrong side for a very long time until I did something we call the wheel of life is that our family is cursed. Because I felt like, why are we going through all this? Why me of all the people? Because I went through horrible things when I was a kid, and I believed like I really questioned God. Why should you leave me with this lady who is confused? Because when you are under depression, you do anything. I got to learn my mom was under depression after I'm an adult, but when I was still young, I would feel like, it's not right. I really tried to change things, but I'm like, they can't change. Everybody sees me this way because of where I come from. So for a very long time, I really denied where I come from because of the assumption that we are from a caste family. And with that, definitely it comes out like nothing good will come from us. We are just there and we are there to survive at the end of the day. And accepting to the bare minimum that we are poor. I don't have my father didn't leave us with any property, and people who maybe are rich have inheritance from their own families. But now the narrative has changed because I see it is different. And then the other one, assumption that really got to me for a very long time is, Nkaziri, you are an orphan. That thing really took a toll on me because anytime I would walk and see families smile and happy, I would actually get mad at them for nothing. Naturally, I've been a quiet person, so nobody could tell whether I'm just in my own thoughts or I'm mad or angry at them. And I have a very nice, beautiful smile that nobody could tell. But deep in my heart, those were the thoughts in my mind, as displayed in the small picture where there is a girl holding a doll. And in that girl, she's thinking about a family, a whole family setup of a mother, father, and a child, and they're all sharing their love as it should be. It really put a very big toll on me. But later on in life, it's when I realized, come on, we have even worse orphans than I was. And if anybody would have convinced me years back, I would tell them, it's not true. That's a lie. But I really thank God I was able to see, because life is an experience and it is there for all those who are willing to learn and open your eyes and see. I got to realize so many of us actually have gone through a lot of difficulties. We may not be orphans for those who are not orphaned, but the life they're living could even be worse than a person who has got both parents. So I got to realize and appreciate life and live and shun away from the assumptions that we make in life. And here it came the realities. And this is where, from a presentation, we can see like two think tanks. One,
Kaziri, you are muted. Okay, that's an interesting story by Kaziri. I'm sure she'll be back again. It could be challenges of power or Wi-Fi.
I'm sorry, my lights have just gone off.
Yes, welcome back.
Yes, is this on presentation
Share your
mode?
presentation. Share
Oh, I
it.
reshare.
Yeah, reshare it.
Okay, I'm really sorry about that.
It's
Thank
okay.
God for our phones. Where share? Yeah. Is it shared now? It's okay now?
No, you are starting to share, yes.
Okay, perfect. Anyway, I'm almost ending my presentation anyway. I just started by mentioning we have two very people with their heads opened, and we have one in black, the other one in white. And there is some things passing across. With all that I have shared, it came to a point also, Viola got to realize that we have realities that are there in life. And I relate to that with my own self. And below the heading realities, we have the world. And in the world, we have got various things in it. The world is circular, so things get to change. And this is where I got to realize I am in charge, whereby I need to survive and desire to thrive. And as we do that, we can only thrive when we have resilience, and not just, we look at the resilience as a process, not the ultimate goal. Because I remember if I had been told one time, you will become this way, I will be like, it won't work. However, with resilience and the desire to make it the process, that is why we are ever reading new books each season, so that we get to grow in the process. Every time we get to learn new things, and I got to realize as I am in charge, I am a magnet. And being a magnet is something that I get to attract what I deserve. I get to attract what I desire. And the other one is I am a woman. And I tell my younger self, I look back, the photo that I think I have when I was a kid, one is a long time ago, they used to take photos in a studio, and I saw, I think my dad was standing, my mom was seated, and I was held. And I look at that photo and I tell my younger self, I am the woman that I have become. I have become this fighter. When what I was fighting, like running away from, I have now the position to make it. Thank God to the experiences and the pains I had as a woman, they made me better. They are making me now resilient to fight for these other women. That is why I'll focus on these children who have disabilities, because I know they are born by a woman, and this woman might be going through things that they themselves also are not in control of. Their children may be going through things, blaming their own mothers, but their mothers, they had nothing to do with it, as I blamed my own mother a very long time. But thank God I am a woman. I can feel it, and now I have a position to make a difference. The other thing that is a reality is my past does not dictate my future. Yes, I had an imbalanced family, but what does that make me? Should I become that and condemn my own daughter to this? No, because I don't have to fight that small girl that I was. And the other thing is, I was born in joy. I grew up in pain. I believe when I was born, as the stories I'm told is, my parents had a very beautiful wedding, a Muslim wedding, and that means I was not born out of a mistake. I was born in joy. However, I grew up in pain, but I'm here to say that my child does not have to go through the same thing. That means my past does not dictate my future. And the other reality that has dawned on me is the purpose of life is to live it no matter what. And this is a very great story and message from the book that you've read, that pain is not a sign of defeat. Actually, when we are in pain, we live again and again. What matters is how we pick up the pain, the channels that we decide to choose, what to walk away from, what to tackle, and how best to tackle what we are facing through. And now here it is as I end my presentation. A very beautiful slide. On this slide, I'll try to describe it, assuming I could be having an audience who cannot see. So allow me to describe what is on these photos. This photo, one of it striking is the Viola Davis in me. From the story I've just shared, I think for those who have been able to read the book and relate, and those who have not been able to read the book, I would encourage us to go through this book and you'll see, you'll feel it. And even the movies this lady has acted, I was able to watch one and I saw, I don't know if the script writers knew her story and even tried to portray part of her life as she was dramatizing or acting in the series, How to Get Away with Murder. And here is me in parliament. I was before a parliamentary committee and I was addressing the issue of sign language and being included, and children of deaf adults, that is CODA, being included as part of persons and recognized in the Children's Act. And I was really happy it was captured in the Hansard, and we are being considered as a group that is vulnerable due to the cross-linguistic barriers that we face as growing up. And it really felt fulfilling that I am the one who launched and started that organization as their president of CODA Kenya, but now well handed to another person to get on with the mantle. And the next photo here, I'm with a very beautiful girl who has got paintings. This is our beautiful girl, Maria Pendo, and we thank God for her. She's grown in resilience, and we know by God's grace, she may have a better and beautiful story to tell. By the way, we don't have to give stories out of pain. Also growing in goodness and glory of God, we can still share our stories and make life better. On the next slide, I have a photo with a gentleman. This gentleman is my husband. We are in a school and I'm happy I was able to influence and make a difference out of out of my own aspiration to make a difference in the disability world. He got involved in it. That is where we got to found our organization, and he's here speaking to learners. This was a recent photo taken from a school called Kamboi High School for the Hearing Impairment. These are Form 4 learners who are being spoken to, and I was there supporting sign language interpretation. On the other end, very nice, beautiful, mouth-watering bhajias with some tamarind sauce. And this is another blessing that God has given me. I got to realize my hands are blessed with a lot of things that I do. I'm a person who is good in cooking, and I got to realize, why can't I use this to further it more? I did that when I was in campus preparing chapatis for my friends, and that is how my small business started. I went under for a while, but after I really regained myself and I got to know that I can attract money in various ways, because I remember I mentioned I am a magnet. So I have to do things that will attract what I desire. So I opened a restaurant called Zuri Ox. Very nice dealing with Swahili dishes. And I'm happy to have a team that works with me, beautiful ladies, and I really thank God for them, for bearing this vision that I have. And before I go to the middle, that is written as Smile to Child and Parent Society, there's a part whereby there's an inclusive summit and there's a program attached to it. I'm very happy for the first time I was able to influence the Rotary Club International, whereby for the first time they were able to involve deaf persons, and I was in the planning committee for a World Inclusive Summit. It really humbled me, getting to have meetings online, meeting at odd hours. It was really humbling and it has opened doors and windows and everything for me. And in the middle is our logo for the organization. I'll be happy to share it because it is what actually made me to realize and achieve the goal and the dream I have, whereby it is a butterfly that has flourished. We all know the life cycle of a butterfly. That is how we are having the arrows and the stars to show we can make it. And as I conclude, there is this gentleman we all know, Michael Jackson, who says, dream it, see it, believe it, make it happen. And I believe we can make it happen. Thank you so much for the opportunity of listening to me and also watching Whitney as she was assisting us in sign language interpretation. Thank you so much, Whitney, as I believe from this one lady, Lilian Moreni, as I am a member of also YALI, that says lifelong learning is not only a hobby, but a practical skills that helps me to thrive. Thank you.
Amazing, 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 Kadziri. What a story, ladies. What a story this evening. A story of resilience. I think, Whitney, you'll continue. I think you continue with the rest of the program. This is interesting. This is the first time. You remember, Kadziri, when you came to my office and we talked about having this sign language and in my programs, and now you have made it happen. It was a far-stretched dream, but look at this, you have brought it here. See it, dream it. Wow, let us celebrate Nkadziri. Nkadziri is an amazing lady. When she first did Unleash the She Leader program, she told me those stories about her mother and the pain she had, and she released all that pain. And now look, she's owning her story of pain, just like Viola. And now she is igniting new possibilities in her life. You can see all the beautiful things she has created. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Congratulations, Nkadziri. Wow, amazing, amazing. Thank you, I'm so excited. Great, we are moving on. I can't believe 1 hour is already done. We are going to our second speaker now. Let me project our second speaker. Our second speaker is, yes, here she is. Our second speaker is Cynthia Puto. Cynthia tells me she is a wife, she is a mother, she is a sister, a daughter, auntie, and friend to a very blessed group of people. And these people, she calls it family. Her work is mainly conferencing and events coordination, And she also has a side hustle, just like in Kadziri. She has some things that she does on the side, and she is a registered licensed dietitian in private practice. She tells me she's obsessed. She's obsessed with reading. And I'm so happy that she was introduced to the book club, and she is been a member since season 16. So this is a second season, and here she is and continuing strong. Her hobbies are traveling and networking, and she has notable qualities of being friendly, strong, and a radiant child of God. Cynthia, it is your time. Take it away now. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. I can't believe, it's hard to hear so many things about you when you're presenting. And that's a hard act to follow. Kadziri. Thank you. Thank you for agreeing to share. It's very, very inspiring. So for me, I asked to just talk in the spirit of unveiling the mask, beyond the mask that we've been talking about. And I'm just still synthesizing what Nkadziri had shared. So it's kind of hard to present, but I will do the best I can just to take you along. So for me, when I read Finding Me by Viola Davis, I felt I had mixed feelings, a lot of mixed feelings, because on one hand, her story is really moving. I mean, for her to be able to have accomplished so much, I know there are people listening in who probably haven't read the book, but generally, maybe just an overview. Viola Davis had a childhood that was very difficult by all standards. And for her to be able to overcome those challenges as a child and become such a success by all standards across the globe, I think it's something very remarkable. So the memoir she's written really is her journey through all that pain to where she has reached today. And for one, when I read, I remember the first thing I thought was the language. Oh my goodness. The language used in this book is quite shocking. I think those of you who've read it, you'll agree with me. I don't think you're really quite prepared for the amount of words she uses to describe us. I think it just shows authenticity for the world that she grew up in. I had a chance to live in the US for quite a number of years. I got my undergraduate degree there. So when I read this book, there was a lot of history that she talks about that I witnessed firsthand. Some things I didn't really understand because, again, being in the US as a foreigner, you go in with literally not much at all. And for her to have experienced that level of poverty she described in the book I thought was interesting. She talks about rats and a rat-infested neighborhood. If you've ever been to the US, you know that these are usually what we call Section 8 housing. That's what it seems like to me. That's at least what came into my mind. And I remember being quite upset with her mom, especially being a US citizen, not being able to take advantage of the opportunity that exists just by the fact that you're an American kind of made me upset. But again, also when she goes into that and growing up as of course, this ex-slavery, and when you understand the history that comes with just being Black in America, then you begin to understand that she didn't choose to be born in such a family. So her story of hardship and overcoming that, I think, is what really resonated with me. For her childhood trauma, everything she went through as a young girl of 8. I have a 9-year-old daughter. She's the youngest we have. And when I look at her and I imagine the things that Viola Davis had to go through in her life at that age, I literally shed tears. Personally, I feel really blessed after reading this book that I didn't have to experience anything remotely close to what she describes in her book. And it also just gave me a sense of gratitude for the parents that I have and how they raised me. I didn't have any trauma as a child. However, the trauma that I relate with is more in my adult life. So when I look at what she went through at such a young age, and what she needed to do to overcome the trauma that she had gone through, then just reinforces how a mindset, and we've been talking about this mindset in the previous season of book club. If you're not a member of the book club, I highly encourage you to join in. It's been so insightful, and we've been talking about how I think success is first of all in the mind. I think Kadziri just mentioned it. If you can dream it, if you can see it, if you believe it, then you can make it happen. So it's all about the mindset. I think Viola Davis in her book had a mindset for success. She had to many points make a decision on that she is better than the circumstances she found herself in. And the trauma I faced was, like I said, not in my childhood, but as an adult. I remember her turning point in the book. She says when she was 28 is when she felt like things cannot be the way they are. She needed to change something. She had reached her rock bottom. And those of you who have passed that age group, that's usually a very pivotal point in your life as a young lady. You know, probably you're just finishing school and you're trying to figure out a career, trying to, move on and make good decisions. If you're interested in getting married, usually that's the time when you're meeting someone, making serious life decisions. And in my case, I remember it was also a very pivotal point in my life. And some of the decisions that I made at that point in time led to some of the traumas that I eventually started to experience now in my 30s, largely, and towards the end of my 30s. So I can relate now the trauma that I experienced, in terms of ending up in situations, especially in relationships, where you experience abuse, and abuse is more, for me at least, it was mental abuse, it was emotional abuse. Eventually, it ended up being physical abuse, and I had to step away and put boundaries. For me to have been able to successfully do that, yes, I agree with Viola Davis. Mindset is everything. You have to have the right mindset. And I'll go back to my childhood. If I didn't have a strong upbringing, if I didn't have the values that were instilled in me as a young girl, probably I don't know where I would have gotten the strength to reorganize my thought process and to say, no, this is as far as this abuse goes. And this is how I want to live my life from this point going forward. So I really applaud Viola for such a young girl to be able to have a mind shift completely, to change the entire journey of her life. That is a remarkable woman right there. And of course, now listening to, I wish everybody could present at this rate, because I think in this very room, if you will, the virtual room we're in right now, there exists some amazing human beings. If everyone could tell their story, I'm sure we would hear like Kadziri having overcome so much. So that was the bit in terms of childhood trauma in the book, and my own trauma as an adult, and the mindset and the ability to overcome these traumas really resonated with me. The second thing that I picked up from this book was, I mentioned it when I discussed it, is the opportunities. In Viola Davis's memoir, she took advantage of you hear many times that the United States of America is the land of opportunity. And for sure it is. And when I read her story, I remember saying, yeah, in my head, I was like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you should succeed. Like, why wouldn't you? It's the land of literally milk and honey. And if you have the correct mindset, I was there as a foreigner, and I've seen so many other foreigners coming in with literally nothing and making huge successes of themselves. So I had judged her a little bit because I felt, you are in the land of milk and honey. So really, why shouldn't you succeed? But then again, when you think of it with regard to how early she had to begin to create a mindset that she has to overcome these challenges. Then you realize that it takes a very strong mind to be able to overcome whatever challenges life throws at you. So opportunity, in relation to that, just as much as in the US, we have a lot of opportunity to really reinvent your life. By the time she ended up in Juilliard, which is now I think it may not necessarily have been the best. If we were told it's the best, these colonial the colonial mind shift that we are told as Africans or as African Americans or other, she was categorized as an other for all the wrong reasons, just because the color of her skin was black, which is my next point I'll talk about. But Juilliard and what is the best vis-a-vis the opportunity that was provided for her as an actor. I think if I bring it closer home, I would say as a Kenyan living abroad, we took advantage of the opportunity that was given in the US. And in the same breath, I think I've come back home. I've been back and forth, but even when I'm at home, we still have so much opportunity as Kenyans in Kenya to overcome any challenges that may come. I know we are currently facing a lot of political issues. We can complain about everything that's going on, shift, whatever is happening. We can choose to complain consistently, or we can find opportunities. And again, just I can't help it, but look at Nkadziri, who has taken advantage of probably the environment that she has grown up. She found herself, the outliers of being able to speak sign language. And I'm so glad to have that community here and to really make headway in that area. I wonder, and I'm challenged positively to think what is it that I can do in my area of expertise, to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of me, even in my own country. I don't have to step outside to do that, in the small ways and large ways. However, God has provided a platform for you. How can we take advantage of the opportunities that we have to make an impact and live our best lives? So the third thing that I picked up from the book was, the issue of racism or colorism, as it were. I think out there, when everybody's black. If you're black, you're black. It doesn't matter what shade you are. You can be the darkest dark, or you can be somewhat in the middle or very light skinned. Even Kamala Harris is black in their books. So that tells you really, racism is a major, major thing. It's a conversation that's had out there. And she, it's clear in the book how she suffered from being labeled, those labels that are being put on us constantly. However, maybe in this situation, I can talk about colorism. It's something that we as Africans do to one another all the time. I remember, like I told you, our youngest is 9, and she's a little bit darker than me. And once or twice, she'll come home and say, Mom, the color of my skin, I'm not the same color as you. I'm not the lightest African Kenyan, but then just the fact that I'm slightly, maybe a shade lighter than her, she went to school and she was told, she became conscious of that. So I think that's something, it's a conversation we need to also have. If you're a parent or if you have people around you who are, let's not perpetrate colorism among ourselves. We are already colored to the world, so we should reduce that. So I remember constantly just telling her how beautiful her dark skin is and how much I wish that my skin was like hers. Because she, and we talk about the benefits of having melanin, she's more resistant to the sun, and that all the benefits of being, and she's flawless. She don't, if I get a pimple, mine will show longer, once it's healed for her. Her skin is. So I just look for positive things to remind her of how beautiful her dark is and for her to accept herself. But I do this from probably a knowledge of racism vis-a-vis colorism that we, on our own, even in the compounds, when a child is born and you go and say, oh, this one is light and this one is, can we please be aware of what we're doing to feed this colorism vis-a-vis racism, or so I think it's just something that we need to also just take charge of, and be more conscious, because we are scarring people in ways that we may not understand. So that was the third thing I picked up from Viola Davis's story, and she's very clear on how, you know, dark and ugly, you know, she was labeled, and, you know, look where she's at. That has not stopped her, or even the tone of her voice, and how now that is it's a. If you heard, I listened to the audiobook. It was so good to hear her read, because, you know, I don't know, those who are in media can tell us, but those with darker, deeper voices usually carry across media very well. So, you know, we're all different, we're all beautiful. I think God created us in his image and in his likeness. So we should embrace ourselves, especially those of us who are here within Africa. We should embrace one another and celebrate each other's beauty in whichever shape or form. The last thing that I picked up was the power of imagination. In her book, she writes about how her and her sisters used to, you know, make believe a completely new world, and they'd act like the richest, or, you know, they, you know, fan flames. So they do this whole production in the dilapidated state of their home at that point in time. And for a child, and even for us as adults, I think even for me now, who in my 40s, I feel like the power of imagination really will create your realities. So we should be conscious of what our imaginations feed us. What do we thrive? What do we put our minds on? How? And again, in this book club, like I said, if you're not a member, please, you should consider joining Blue Waters. Coach Lois is amazing. I think everybody has said that. I've learned a lot. Even in the last series that we did, the 3 books, I felt I could go back and read them again, because the power of your imagination, really, you know, if you think it, if you can see it, you know, if you believe it, then you can make it happen. So the power of thinking, the power of imagination, you know, and it's very encouraging, because that means then I'm not limited to my reality. I can dream something bigger for myself, whatever that is, you know, and we're encouraged to do a vision board, I think, and dwell on it, you know. I know there's many platforms here that you can join, but the power of your imagination is unbelievable. And it all starts with the mind. It takes me back to my first point, which was the mindset. I think I can continue talking all day long. I don't have any wonderful pictorials to show like Nkadziri, but then when I read this book, I felt those were the main areas I wanted to share regarding what I picked, what resonates with me, and how I probably am going to be more conscious of how I I deal with the world around me. So beyond the mask, I think, like I said, for me as a person, my trauma was not as a child. My trauma was more as an adult, and particularly in the area of relationship. And I agree fully, you know, for me to have walked away from that, you know, into a place of health, emotional health, mental health, even physical health. It was a mindset. Of course, God gives you breath, because in him we live, we move, and we have our being. But then once you have that, then what? You have some decisions to make, you have some choices you need to make. And it all depends on how your mind is, your mindset, and taking charge of your life, taking charge of your circumstances, you know, and understanding that you can change your circumstances. That is possible to do. It starts with how you think, what you feed yourself, what you desire, what you spend your mind dwelling on. You must know that you can change your circumstances, starting immediately with just how you think, and then now proceeding now not just from how you think, probably putting down what your wishes are, and then acting upon them. So thank you so much, Coach. I've taken more than enough time, but thank you for listening. God bless you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Cynthia. That was profound. Thank you for sharing. I remember when I asked you to share your experience about the reading the book, and you are like, some things you can't relate. But I like the way you've just turned it around and just shared your story and the key things that you've taken away from reading that book. Members, please celebrate Cynthia. She has really brought out this amazing, amazing story. She reminded me, actually, when I was growing up, I was the darkest in our family, and the others are lights. And that affected me profoundly because I thought I don't belong. You see, I was dark, I was small and thin, I was like a tree, you know? I was like a tree, looking very tall, but very dark compared to the colorism, you know, the colors of my parents and my siblings. And that really affected me. I learned not to show up. I learned to dim my light. I learned not to speak up. But now we are peeling off those masks and we are stepping out as the queens that we are. This is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Now allow me to introduce our last speaker. That was Cynthia. So let's move now to Jen. Jen Jenga. Wow, an amazing lady. She tells me that she's blessed and highly favored. She's an amazing person. She's a proud mother of one beautiful young lady, Irene, and very proud grandma to one angel, Stacy. She asks, the grandchild asks questions and questions everything. And Jen tells me that, well, I must be ready with answers. Jen's areas of specializations are being a great communicator, public relations, and HR, and that's why she is a powerful administrator. She believes that people are the most important in any organization, whether it's in an organization, in the farm, wherever you are, even if you're in the church or mosque, human beings are the rational beings and need to be treated with dignity, fairly, and with utmost respect. So Jane works as an administrator, as a secretary in various projects that she is in. And with us here, she has been a dedicated and proud member of the book club since December 2023. Amazing, amazing. And she attributes this to one Mercy Kinoti. I think we all know Mercy Kinoti, who she says is a deeply amazing person because Mercy paid for her a whole 1 year membership, annual subscription to the book club. And she of course says, I salute you, Mercy. And I know, Jane, you've learned a lot. This has been 1 year. We are now reading the last book. In this year 2024, we have read amazing, amazing books throughout the year. And I know you're going to encourage us this evening. So take your time now. You are our last speaker. The other Jane is not available. So thank you for showing up and karibu sana. Jane? Jen Jenga? We are waiting for Jen. Okay, let's see whether she's still there. Jen?
Hello, you can hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Thank you very much. Let me load my presentation.
Yes,
I'm grateful
please.
to be in the book club. I have learned so much, and it has been an awakening experience for me. So let me load my presentation. I hope it will be easy to do so. Jesus. Oh God, oh God. Okay.
What you do, close whatever you have opened, close it.
Yes, yes.
Close. We are seeing your documents, close.
Oh, you can see, okay.
We are seeing where you are trying to open from. So close it and start again.
I thought okay, Jesus.
Don't worry, just close whatever you have opened right now, then open the PowerPoint presentation before sharing.
Okay. I don't know. I'm lost.
Close
Okay.
whatever we can see, Jen. Just close this. You haven't closed.
Okay. Let me close.
Yeah,
closed?
close it. You haven't closed.
Okay. Is it gone?
No.
Yes, sir.
Have you shared with me your presentation?
Yes, I did. I sent it to you on Gmail.
Okay, let me see if I can access it. Don't worry, but you can start. I'll be able to find your presentation.
I think you can stop sharing first. You open the document, then you share again.
Okay, Coach, open for me, please.
Okay, just a second. Okay, there you are, Jen. Jen,
It's not showing on my screen. Why?
stop sharing. Are you seeing my members or not yet?
We are seeing, Coach.
Oh, you are seeing, eh? Okay. Were you seeing mine? Were you seeing this one? The one I've projected?
Yes.
Okay, then Jen, let's go with this one. Continue.
Okay, maybe.
You talk through. You talk through. They are seeing the presentation.
Okay.
Yes.
1 minute. Fine. I'm
Okay,
going to
just read through. Yes.
I'm going to present to you. Hey, I need all this out. My presentation. It's by the book by Viola Davis, Finding Me. I am leading book club. I think I need some of
We are on number 1, gratitude.
Yes, gratitude. But there is something I can't see on this other end. Okay.
Can you stop sharing from my side?
Can I go out and come in again? I think so. Sorry, people. Sorry. I think I come out and come in again, I think.
All right.
Yes, I think it will be better.
Okay, no problem.
Now you can, I think you can showcase it now. I think I'm okay. I can see all of you.
Okay, can you see?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Ladies, I have enjoyed listening to Kadziri and I've learned a lot. I've really enjoyed listening to Cynthia, and she has really spoken. Cynthia has also spoken from a place of where she is, where there is racism and color. Thank you so much for sharing. My first point after reading this book, I would like to give gratitude first and foremost to Coach Lois. I thank you deeply for the lessons I have learned through the I'm Leading Book Club. The inspiration I have gained from listening to the She Leads Women has been so great. Many ladies have always shared their stories, and I have found all these stories invaluable. And I've even been able to relate some of them to myself, and some have even grown me. Thank you for the mentorship and the inspiration. I am a renewed woman of excellence. I am also indebted to Mercy Kinoti, who gifted me the book club. She is indeed a younger sister. I call her my younger sister, and I admire all that she stands for. She is really, really amazing. I also wish to thank, I have gratitude to my friends Anne and Sarah who are in this forum. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for keeping me accountable on my toes. They occasionally call me and ask me, have you done your morning meditation? Have you done your walk? Have you done your drinking water? We call each other and we really remind each other. We keep each other accountable. I can say that being in the book club has been an amazing journey, meeting women from all walks of life and actually even from many countries, not just Kenya. And I am truly inspired to step up, step out, and stand out. I have also learned that self-care is very important, and I propose to go for a whole body checkup. This year I already went for my body checkup in May after Coach Lois really told us about it. And I think it's good to continue with it because this ensures, makes you know whether you're in optimum health or not. Next slide. Next slide, please. After reading the Viola Davis story, I learned that she went through a lot of childhood trauma when she was young. She was bullied. She was made to feel that she was black and ugly, and she hated even what used to happen to her home, especially when her father would really beat her mother up. All those emotions, it makes you feel all those emotions for her, and sometimes you even cry. The racism she went through was very traumatic. I even have a friend who one time was flying from Kenya to America to visit her sister who lives in America, and she traveled with her daughter. But in the flight, she was not put to sit next to her daughter. She was actually put to sit next to a European man. This man just seemed to hate her because everything she did, he was just feeling like screaming. She couldn't even touch him, even with her hand by mistake. And he was just feeling like screaming, even looking at her. So you can imagine how traumatizing that 18-hour flight was for my friend. Racism is really there and it has not gone away, but we hope soon, as things go by, things will change. So I want to say that as women, we learn that our past traumas, they do not define who we are. We must propel ourselves to move forward. And this decision of moving forward can actually liberate us from the traumas that we went through. Next slide. Next slide. Yes. My third point is perseverance. Viola's past was full of obstacles, the poverty, the hand-me-down clothes, the rat-infested place she actually lived in, and even not to add insult to injury, her abusive father. In the face of all this, she was able to stand up to her father, who almost killed her mother. If you can all remember the glass where she told the father, give me that glass, and the father was so shocked, he just gave the glass to her. So I think that as women, we must endeavor to stand out in the face of adversity. And we must have courage like young Viola did. When she told those young boys she was studying with, when they were tormenting her, that she's now going to put a jab, she's going to jab them with her crotchet. And the guy got so scared, the Portuguese boy who was also black like her, but he hadn't realized that he's black. He actually stepped away and kind of now they stopped now tormenting her on the road. So next slide. No, self-worth. Number 4, self-worth. Yeah. My fourth point is self-worth. Viola learned to see herself as worthy. As she went to study and to do more acting, she realized that she had to see herself as a worthy person. This she learned from her interactions with Meryl Streep. And she repeated to herself, I am worthy, I am worthy. I call to all of us to continue saying to ourselves, we are worthy, especially when we are down or when people belittle us. Sometimes when we are faced with adversity, we consider ourselves not worthy because we have listened to people close to us who have belittled us in one way or another. And this can even come from your siblings, your sisters, your brothers. And I can just tell you that if you encounter such people, even friends who belittle you, just repeat, I am worthy. This will give you positive vibes and enable you to move ahead. So we as women, We need to reclaim our self-worth. We need to own everything about ourselves. I need to own my good, and I need to own my bad. And then we need to share our harm moments with our friends, and these moments you can laugh it off. You know, sometimes you tell your friend a story, when a silly story that you have done this to yourself, or this has happened to you, and you just have a good laugh. We are women and we are supposed to be happy. So we really need to feel this self-worth. Okay. Next slide, please. Forgiveness. Forgiveness, yes. My fifth point is forgiveness. This reminds us when Viola was young, she wished her father dead. When on his dying bed, when he was taken to a hospice, she forgave him. All the bad things she held about him, all the abuses he used to do to her mother, and the beating and everything, she actually forgave him. And she is the one who held his hand, and she gave him permission to go. That means that she had released him. So we need to learn to forgive those who are close to us and they have wronged us. This can be your parents, this can be your siblings, this can be people you work with, and it could even be your best friends. It can be anyone, or even your partner. You really need to forgive them in order for you to move on. Forgiveness helps us to release the anger and to move on. When you have a grudge in your heart, you constantly remember the pain that was caused to you. You need to release it for you to move ahead. Number 6. As I conclude, I have these points to make. Number 1, you need to embrace your roots and acknowledge the journeys that has brought you to where you are today. Relish it because that is your story. Number 2, we need to confront the challenges in our life with courage and resilience, knowing that they have the power to shape who we are meant to be. And if we don't confront the challenges, we may not become what we are supposed to be. We need to reflect on our passions and our talents, and we need to commit to pursuing our purpose with determination and authenticity. Remember, we were told by Coach about inauthenticity. Now we need to be determined and have authenticity. We need to speak our truth boldly and unapologetically. We need to recognize the power of our voice in shaping our narrative. Our voice is very important and it helps us shape our lives. We need to cultivate a deep sense of love and acceptance for yourself. You must love me. You must love the little girl that you grew in you when you were growing up. You must love yourself, accept yourself. You must honor your flaws, and you must celebrate your unique qualities. Everybody has qualities and yours are unique. You must embrace your qualities. And most of all, you must practice gratitude. As you're taking a walk, it's a very good time to practice gratitude. Bless yourself, everything about yourself that is good. Finally, you need to find yourself. Absorb your whole story, appreciate it, the story that you have gone through, and that way you're going to liberate yourself. And this way, you'll be able to ignite possibilities. Finally, I have something there for everyone. In case nobody told you today, listen to me. You are amazing. You are important. You make a difference. You are incredibly appreciated, and you deserve the best. So, ladies, keep on being you, because the world needs more of you, of who you are. Asanteni sana, all the ladies in this forum, thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Jane. You have been an amazing lady in the book club. You make us smile every day because you show up, because you have embraced your own story. You have accepted who you are, that you are a powerful, amazing woman. Thank you. Let us celebrate Jane in the chat. for sharing. Actually, for her, it was more of a reminder of the points that our takeaways from the book. And I love something about forgiveness. And it's something that we shall do in our next step, that is reposition. Every time we reposition, every time we have this end of year program where we practice forgiveness. So if you have not joined reposition, then you need to be there. Let us address Jen, and thank you, Jen, for sharing. That has been amazing. So I think now we are coming to the end of our conversation this evening. It has all been about going beyond the mask, that mask that keeps us there. To someone else is the trauma, as Jen has told us. To someone else is the forgiveness and forgiveness. And we have to go beyond that mask. That is confronting the parts of our past that we would rather keep hidden or masked, and allowing us to heal and gain strength, as Jen has told us, from our experiences rather than being bound by them. So as we related with the story of Viola, and thank you, Jen, for bringing those parts for us to relate, then our past does not keep us there. From our experiences in the past, now we start healing. We start seeking ways to heal, ways to grow, ways to gain strength. So we accept the whole scope of life's journey, both the joys and the pains, the struggles and the victories. It's all part of our story. And that is the foundation of our true power. So our true power is not when everything is going on right, when we are trying to be perfect and not taking care of ourselves. Remember, forgiveness is about self-acceptance, is about prioritizing your well-being. So that is the foundation of our true power. And thank you, Jen, for bringing that out. So let us now, we talked about mindset, and I think there has been so many conversation about this. Let us now shift from the shadows, like this woman here. Let us shift from the shadows. Let us come now into light, because we are igniting possibilities. Discover your true self and purpose. Don't go through life without discovering your true self. Just like Viola, through that process of becoming, that journey of becoming, a journey as mountains, as valleys, as twists all through. But that is the whole foundation of it. So as you go through that journey of becoming and you unmask, then you start discovering what is covered by all these masks. That there lies the genuine lady, your true self. And in there, you find your purpose, because it is with your purpose that now you ignite and you start now having possibilities. Yeah, I can do that. I can go that place. I can pay for that things. That is igniting possibilities. It only happens when we embrace our authenticity. So ladies, let your true voice, as Jen has told us, and power emerge unfiltered. Start stepping out in your strength. Step up as that magnificent queen and start standing out. And she has told us, be you, do you, not anyone else. Don't copy and paste. Why copy and you are unoriginal? As we complete this conversation this evening, just as I've said, I'm reminding you that from 1st December at the end of this month to 10th December, God willing, we shall have our end of year program at Kenya shillings 1,000. 1,000. You can even pay for 5 of your friends, 5 of your family members, so that we can ignite our pink. That is the conversation we shall have. Finding me, then finding your pink. Let's ignite that. And that will happen now from 1st to 10th December. It's only 1,000 shillings. And remember that I am here, as I said at the beginning, with this platform of Blue Waters, where we go into deep transformations And I authored a book this year, Ignite. If you don't have this book, then let's have it, because season 18 of the book club is all about igniting possibilities, unleashing that inner fire so that we can step out of those limiting beliefs. We can step out of that trauma and all that bitterness of life and step up as that magnificent queen who we have redefined. We have unleashed that queen, and then now we can stand out in our glory. So this book, ladies, encapsulates that transformative process of stepping out of those limiting beliefs, stepping up into your purpose, and standing out in the world as a powerful force of change. And you've heard the story of Katsiri. So this book is a call to action for you, every woman who interacts with me, to reignite the spark within and harness the power of abundance, leadership, and wellness. By the way, those are my 3 pillars. We are in the Blue Waters platform. I call it LAW. L standing for leadership, A standing for abundance, and W standing for wellness or well-being. And you will agree with me, those are my 3 pillars. All my programs are either centered on leadership or abundance. We talk about the Rich and Royal Abundant Club. We talk about the money blueprint. We talk about the abundant woman. And now I'm bringing up the vortex, of abundance. You see, it's all about abundance. It's all about leadership. We have unleashed the She Leader program as our core foundational course. Now I have introduced Leadership Gold starting from January, and I have a few ladies who are willing to take this up just to stretch their limits and see what new possibilities exist for them. And our well-being is part of this. We have various programs that deal with wellness. Even in the book lab itself, we talk about our well-being. And it's everything about holistic wellness, not just one wellness, but your mental health, your physical health, everything. We want to be leaders who are abundant and well. So thank you so much. It has been amazing having all of us this evening. And I look forward to the next book, which I'm going to introduce. I think I should be able to send by this evening the PDF copy and the audiobook so that we start reading. Those who are members of the book club, we start reading by tomorrow. So I will share the program. So thank you so much. It has been a great start of season 17, and we are moving on. Now, this will be our 3rd book in season 17. Then come January next year, we'll have another 3 books, and the first book is Ignite. So if you have not invested in Ignite and you want to be in the book club, kindly do that so that we read together. It is powerful. There's energy when we read together than just reading alone. And when we come now to a meeting like this, where we are able to read. So thank you so much. I didn't know it will take all this time, 1.5 hours, but it has been brilliant. And I thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Whitney, for showing up for us here. I'm sure there are so many other ladies who will be able to join from the sign language. Asanteni sana, God bless you, and have a great evening. Bye-bye.